In the Ruble book, chapter 6, we start to look at the actual action plan in place for this compass model. Again, this is included in this course specifically to meet requirements for the autism endorsement that I hope most of you are completing. But the specifics of this model really are a good model for any type of collaboration. Obviously, it's really a best practice sort of model. And so the structure of what is shown in these steps for Compass could be used in any sort of collaboration, so I still think it's very worthwhile. The chapter is full of forms and check sheets or checklists that can be applicable again for any sort of collaboration and are really a good guide for what should happen in this process. So in step A, that is when the information is gathered to start to begin to make decisions about a particular student's plan. So those sorts of data are collected both directly and indirectly. Lots of observation forms are available, different kinds of reports from written form as well. And so if you've had the assessment course in autism, you've seen a lot of these types of forms before. And again, these are specifically geared towards the kinds of observational data you need for the student on the spectrum, but can be tailored to work with any student. Once all of that information is collected, obviously, then this joint summary form is completed. And that's what collaboration is all about, pulling all the data together, putting it into kind of a single pile of this is what we know about the student, and this is where we want to get as a goal for the student, and starting to prioritize items. What is assessed, and this can go for any student obviously, is everything we can basically get our hands on. Now, if you're collaborating around a very specific need or issue, then you would obviously focus that collaboration and that data assessment collection of information around those specific kinds of goals. This is a look at what would really be almost an initial evaluation for a student, obviously. So this is what we see in our typical initial evaluation reports as far as almost a full battery and full psychological. So you get the medical background, but again, medical background needs to be an ongoing process of data collection throughout the years as we work with students, because their medical needs often change, and if we aren't made aware of it at school with regard to medication and physical limitations, things like that, then it's problematic because of the amount of time they spend there every day. Psychological evaluation, if necessary, obviously. So is there a need to do a cognitive evaluation of any kind of social, emotional, behavioral kinds of things? Receptive and expressive language, and that's obviously geared towards the student with ASD, but many of our students have language issues. Fine and gross motor skills need to be evaluated. And adaptive behavior. In other words, how is the student able to function in all of the different environments that they are obliged to function in, and what are their needs with regard to environmental demands. What we're looking for with this information and in the summary that's compiled is an ability to pull together what we know about the student's likes, their strengths, what frustrates them, what their fears are, and again, a lot of this language points towards ASD. What are their adaptive skills in new environments, any problem behaviors and where they would occur, what might trigger those, their skills socially and in interacting with other peers. Communication was mentioned earlier again. Sensory challenges and supports needed. That speaks a lot to ASD, but to some other disabilities as well. What kind of sensory supports are needed with students, not only with ASD, but with other sensory issues who may have hearing or visual impairments. Learning academic needs and skills, what's there, what's needed to support continued growth in academics, and then what environmental challenges have we found and what supports might be possibly put in place to meet those needs.